Wow, what another stunning afternoon for Ipswich Town. 7 wins on the spin, 8 clean sheets. Here at Derby County, they've won 2-0. This train keeps on rolling, Stu, and it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what more to say than that, really. This is another day that's going to live long in the memory. A crowd of just under 30,000 here at Pride Park, 3,000 of which were in that Ipswich away end, just in that corner over our shoulder. And they made themselves heard from the very start here today and all the way through. And Ipswich delivered a performance for them. That was textbook away victory, that.
Yep, 2 counter-attack goals, did everything they needed to do. This team is just so good. They're coming into this at just the right time. They're moving like a train. And they did this at Bolton a few weeks ago. They've come here and done it again. They don't look really like wobbling, and while this is rolling on, it's hard not to start really imagining in 8 games' time where this might be. Because right now, it feels like it's heading to the right destination. Long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran McKenna straight on the... I'm not looking at the table. I'm not worrying what anyone else is doing.
We are looking
We
at
are,
it.
we can, and we will. And Kieran McKenna says that, yes, everyone else should be doing that. It's only natural. Let's enjoy these moments, not get too far ahead of ourselves. You asked Connor Chaplin about the significance of it, the table. Friday was his response to that. Ipswich have got Wickham at Portman Road coming up on Good Friday. But let's just wallow in this not wallow. Let's reflect, enjoy, bask in this victory. I got there in the end. Let's bask in this victory for a moment, shall we? Let's go back through it. Ipswich started this game really well, on the front foot, took control, turned a crowd that was already feeling a bit edgy after, I think, 3 defeats in 4 coming into today. They'd lost to Fleetwood here last time out. So you sense that if Ipswich could start, the home fans would get a bit edgy. They did that. Nathan Broadhead in particular looked really in the mood, having come back from Wales, having scored on his debut for Wales. He was on it from the start, and I thought they were really good value for a 17th minute lead.
They couldn't touch Broadhead. The midfield were getting bypassed by clever touches that he was taking it round, and the defence were sitting back off him because they were scared of him running towards the box. And that wasn't the impact I thought he was going to make for the goal, the way that it came about. I thought it would be a driving run into the box, creating something. But front to back in 11 seconds from the hands of Christian Walton from a corner, hurled out to Broadhead, who begins to charge forward, feels Mendes-Lang at his back, but still has the presence of mind to produce this perfect long crossfield ball onto the head of that noted towering header Wes Burns, who again calm nods it into the path of Connor Chaplin, who again calm slots it into the back of the net. And just calmness from Ipswich this afternoon in what was a really hectic game, a crowd that was up and down, the Derby fans in particular up and down with every move of the referee's hand and every blow of his whistle, but Ipswich stayed calm. Clinical feet, calm heads, and it's paying dividends for them.
Yeah, I didn't have headed knockdown from Wes Burns top of my list of routes to goal for Ipswich Town today, but very good header on from him. Everything about that move, I think it was about 11 seconds from Walton's hands to Chaplin finding the back of the net. 1-0, 20 goals this season now for Connor Chaplin in all competitions, came at that end in front of the away fans, and for a little while after that, it looked like Ipswich were pushing for a second. Derby were rocking. The home crowd were turning a little bit. Couldn't get that second goal. Harry Clark had a shot from the edge of the box that was pushed away from the goalkeeper. Hurst with a nice knockdown, and Derby sort of scrambled behind. Couldn't get that kid a second. And then Derby did settle. They regrouped, and they finished that first half the stronger. David McGoldrick had a hell of a chance just before half-time, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe again not a noted header of the ball, but at the back post there, at the other end, he'd have wanted to a lot better than hit the side netting. It came from the right side, which is their right side, which was their kind of threatening area for much of the afternoon. Greg Lee in there instead of Leif Davis, who's out with an injury. That would have been big if that equaliser had come before the break, but it looked like it had come very soon after it, and that was another big turning point in the game, wasn't it, that went in Town's favour?
Yeah, at the time I don't think anyone knew what it was disallowed for. Derby picked up where they left off at the end of the first half, were on the front foot, forced a corner. Erin Cashin heads in on the run. Holder Pride Park thinks it's a goal, and the referee ruled it out, and no one was really sure why at the time. A suggestion that maybe it was for a push, which wasn't apparent at the time. Having seen the replays back, it looks like David McGoldrick, standing in an offside position, flicks a bit of a heel, wafts a leg at the ball as it goes in, doesn't touch it, but the intent was there, and it might be disallowed for a David McGoldrick offside.
Yeah. I don't think Derby are completely sure. I saw one of their post-match interviews where they were talking about a foul on Christian Walton, which again I don't think anyone really knows where that was, whether it was McGoldrick, whether it was a foul, but either way, the flag's gone in Town's favour, and from that point, the second goal wasn't too far away after that, and the job was done. But it's a nice chunk of luck that a team that's incredibly good maybe you get those go your way.
Yeah, and look, all season we've been talking about maybe things need to even out a little bit for Ipswich on the fortune front. You go right back to the Barnsley game at home back in August with the Marcus Harness disallowed goal. There have been other incidents. McKenna's talked a lot about the lack of penalties throughout this season. Even in this game, I thought in the second half, Connor Chaplin had a really big shout for a penalty where he sort of slammed on the brakes and got bumped over from behind in the box. So maybe Ipswich should, deserve that little bit of fortune. We talked about some fine margin games not going their way, big moments not quite going their way earlier in the season. Well, now we've had Christian Walton come up with a penalty save at Bolton just when they needed it, and we've had that moment those two moments either side of the break go their way today.
Well, yeah, Connor Chaplin says that Craig Forsyth was astounded that he hadn't given away a penalty and told him so on the pitch during the game. So fortunately it didn't matter, and it didn't matter because a second counter-attack goal doubled Town's lead, won them the game. Some decent defending at the back, ends up with the ball at the feet of Sam Morsey, who just clips the ball over the top for Wes Burns, who really showed his true sort of top pace there to get through on goal. He'll be disappointed not to score, but that didn't matter so much. It landed at the feet of George Hurst, who calm head, took his time, placed his shot perfectly at 2-0, and the job was done. Two really good goals, and not a cut back from the right and a slam home inside the box in sight. It was
took that really well, George Hurst, but I thought his all-round performance today was outstanding. Even before that goal, I would have probably put him right up there in terms of the pick of the Ipswich Town players today. He is such an all-round striker, isn't he? He's got a little turn of pace in behind, he can win headers, he can battle centre halves, he's got a nice little deft touch as well to make the ball stick and lay it off. 3 goals in 3 for him now. I was really impressed with George Hurst today.
I think the whole team, they're a team. There's so many that I'd pick. I think that Broadhead had his time earlier in the game, and the fact that he frustrated the home fans so much in so many different ways says to me that he did his job today. The quality moments from Burns, Morsey for the goal, Walton, Hurst.
You could go through them all. You don't win 2-0 in this game. Do you know what I really liked today? Emotionally, the way Ipswich dealt with that. We talked earlier in the season where Ipswich we keep referring back to the Charlton game where they lost their heads a little bit emotionally and got caught up with things in that stoppage time. It could have been very easy today. That crowd really got het up when they felt that things were going against them. The goal got disallowed. A couple of Ipswich players got booked for time wasting at times, and they really whipped up into a frenzy, and Ipswich could have lost their heads and got drawn into that, but they just kept calm and stuck to their game plan, and they were a reflection of their manager, who I've just said that it's the most fired up I've seen him during the game today. When that second goal went in, he enjoyed that, Kieran McKenna, didn't he? Instantly
turned back towards his bench, roaring fist, jumped into a butt. It was great. We don't always sit particularly close to the dugouts, but to see that from him today, that's massive for Ipswich today. So many twists and turns left in this. It moves them to within 2 points of both of the top two now. Sheffield Wednesday dropped more points, pegged back at home. That's 3 points from 15 for them. Crazy. Plymouth not in action. They're in the Papa John's Trophy final tomorrow. But after that Bristol Rovers game, Town were 10 points back from the top, 8 points back from Plymouth. I think it was Plymouth, whoever was in second, and they had a game in hand on Ipswich. And look at this now. It's mad.
Yeah, I mean, Barnsley, Morecambe, I think that finished 5-0 today, so they're still breathing down their necks. But if Ipswich win their game in hand, they go above Sheffield Wednesday. So this automatic promotion race is now in their hands officially. If they could go and win their remaining 8 games, big ask, but they've just won 7 in a row. How many of these final 8 can they win? The way they're playing at the moment, they've got a real fear factor about them. Next up, Good Friday, Wycombe. We'll see you then.